in heaven and on earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. The king's new decree was that. So I don't know if you've heard Daniel and the Lion's Den story since you were in first grade. That will forever preach. Every single part of that. That is really believing in who God is. And there is so much consistency of who God has always been. And so I'm just going to pick back up and read the first part and make a few points of what the Lord's been showing me as I've been reading this. But this is a really cool thing. So the first point, verse 17, a stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the lion's den, and the king sealed it with his signet ring, sealing the fate of Daniel's life so that his situation might not be changed. How many of you know that there is no king of this world, there is no power on earth that can seal the fate of our life whenever God has placed destiny in our life, when he knit us together in our mother's womb, gave us purpose, gave us freedom, gave us plans to prosper? No king of this world can do that. Let me just show you about the consistency of God. In Matthew chapter 27, Jesus had just died on the cross, and Jesus, as you know, whenever he was alive, he was predicting his death, and he was prophesying to the people, and he said to them one day, he said a few times actually, that on the third day he would raise. And so we're picking up Matthew chapter 27, verse 62. It says, the next day, the one after preparation day, the chief priests and the Pharisees went to Pilate, and they said, Sir, we remember that while he was still alive, that the deceiver said, after 3 days I will rise again. So give the order for the tomb to be made secure until the third day. Otherwise, his disciples may come and steal the body and tell all the people that he was raised from the dead. The last deception will be worse than the first. And so Pilate answered, Go, make the tomb as secure as you know how. So they went and made the tomb secure, putting a seal on the stone, posting up with a guard. How many of you know there is no tomb, there is no seal, there is no power of darkness that can hold back the power of God when he has already put his word in place? That's the consistency of who God is. That's why I love to read the book of Daniel and then read the life of Jesus, because you see how God is so consistent with his people. He is the same God yesterday, today, and forever. The angels say in Revelation that as they surround God day and night, all they can say is, Holy, holy, holy are you, Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. Every new side of you is holy. Where you were, it was holy. Where you are, it is holy. Where you are going, it will be holy. The angels declare that day and night. And I want you to realize something in Daniel's life and with Jesus. In Daniel's life, Daniel was living a great life. Daniel was literally the one that God showed so much favor on because he fasted. He was a righteous man. He was found blameless in the sight of man, in the sight of God. He was doing great things. And guess where he was led? To the lion's den. Isn't that interesting? That we can be following the perfect will of God in our life and we can still be led to the lion's den. Jesus. He's Jesus. He actually is God. And he was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. Isn't that interesting? We can be following the Spirit of God and we can be following the perfect will of God, confidently walking in it, and we can still be led into the wilderness and to the lion's den. And so I just want to tell you that because some of you might have been disappointed where God led you. And you might be sitting in the lion's den right now and you're like, what in the world, God? I've been following you. I've been fasting.